Ethiopia is a country located in East Africa. Custom and traditions of this country are: the child takes on the father's first name as his or her last name. In general, an elder or groups of elders are responsible for settling disputes within a kin group or clan. It is the primary duty of the mother to care for their children as part of her domestic duties. If the mother is not available, the responsibility falls to the older female children as well as grandmothers. During sex upon multiple kisses on both cheeks and a plethora of exchanged pleasantries. One must always wash their hands before a meal, since all food is eaten clean with the hands from a clean dish. Religion in Ethiopia is predominantly Christian, Orthodox Christian, but people are allowed to choose their religion freely. 6 precepts are to be followed when praying if you are Orthodox Christian. One should stand up, as enjoined in the words of the Lord. One should gird himself with the girdle, as the Lord has said. Let your loins be girt. One should face toward the east, for that is the direction from which Christ will appear in his second coming. One should make the sign of the cross from the forehead downward and from left to right. One should recite the prayer in fear and trembling, and one should kneel down and prostrate himself, since the Gospel tells us that the night of his passion our Lord prayed prostrating himself and kneeling. The faithful should pray 7 times each day. Fasting is very common for Ethiopian Christians. One may fast about 180 to 250 days in a year. During fasting periods, Christians abstain from meat and all animal products, including milk, butter, eggs, and etc. No food or drinks is taken before noon, at the earliest. Even then, only a simple repast should be taken. In Holy Week, no food is taken before 1 p.m. or later. The main language of Ethiopia is Amharic.
For female, Semish Manno. For male, Semih Manno. And you can say, my name is Simi, and then say your name. Semish Manno. Semish Manno. What is your name? My name is Simi. It's very short, right? My name is equals to Simi. Simi. That goes for both male, female. And then you say your name. Simi. My name is Bisrat. My name is Simi. Basically the same. How old are you? Sint ametish no. For female. Sint ametish no. Sint ametish no. For male, it would be Sint ametih no. Sint ametih no. Sint ametih no. How old are you? You're saying it for both in English, and it refers to male and female. Sint ametish no for female, Sint ametih no for male.
Economic systems. Ethiopia is an overwhelmingly agricultural country, with agriculture employing 80% of the people there, and farm products account for almost half the country's GDP and 60% of its exports, mainly coffee. Coffee, cereals, pulses, oilseed, cotton, sugarcane, potatoes, cot, and cut flowers are the most common products produced, and Ethiopia's currency is the birr. Government. The national government, which is the Federal Democratic Republic, is consisted of 2 chambers: the upper chamber, which is the House of Federation, and the lower chamber, which is the House of People's Representation. The Prime Minister heads it, and the executive power is held by the government. Some of the rights that people have include the right to live, the security of persons and liberty, prohibition against inhuman treatment, right of persons arrested, and prohibition of double jeopardy. All the rights of the people are listed in the Ethiopian Constitution, which is called the Constitution of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. The current president of Ethiopia is Mulatu Tejame, and the current prime minister of Ethiopia is Hailemariam Desalagan. The social structure of Ethiopia consists of four major social groups. There are the high-ranking lineages, the low-ranking lineages, there's caste groups, and slaves. Labor has been divided by gender, with authority given to the senior male in a household. Men are responsible for plowing, harvesting, trading of goods, the slaughtering of animals, herding, the building of houses, and the cutting of wood. Women are responsible for the domestic sphere, cooking, brewing beer, cutting hops, buying and selling spices, making butter, collection and carrying wood, and carrying water. Gender division in urban areas is less pronounced than it is in the countryside. Many women work outside of the home, and there tends to be a greater awareness of gender inequality. Educational challenges. In 1997, school attendance became mandatory for children between the ages of 7 to 16. Education is not free, and school fees are expensive, so children cannot attend the schools. Only 13% of children are even enrolled in secondary schools. Classes are overcrowded, with 50 to 60 kids per class, so learning is difficult, and the literacy rate for people above the age 15 is only 57%. Health and disease challenges. Life expectancy for women and men in Ethiopia is 57 to 50 and 54 years of age, respectively. HIV and AIDS account for 39% of all new infections and 15% of all people living with HIV in 2012 are young people. Roughly 17.8 million children have lost at least one parent of AIDS-related illnesses in the sub-Saharan Africa. People known to be living with HIV are often shunned or abused by community members, employers, and even healthcare workers. Another health risk is malaria, where three-fourths of the land below 200 meters is affected with malaria, and two-thirds of the population is at risk with it. It's the number one health problem in Ethiopia, with an average of 5 million cases a year. Causes 7,000 deaths each year. Malaria is the leading cause of the subsistence crops mortality in African children under 5 years of age. Malaria season coincides with peak economic activity in rural Ethiopia when both rainfall levels and temperatures are high and conducive for growing of poverty and hunger challenges. 29% of the population lives below the national poverty line. Only about 25% of its arable land is cultivated, and agriculture is dominated by subsistence rain-fed farming. The lack of rainfall is a major factor in rural poverty. Drought is more frequent and severe, and trends show it only getting worse. Poor rural people lack basic social and economic infrastructure, such as health and educational facilities, veterinary services, and access to safe drinking water. Causes of rural poverty are an ineffective and inefficient agricultural marketing system, underdeveloped transport and communications networks, underdeveloped production technologies, limited access of rural households to support services, environmental degradation, and lack of participation by rural people in decisions that affect their livelihoods.